Welcome everyone to episode 3 of season 2 of the Herron Talks podcast. We have our co-host is back in her rightful place, Miss Bonita Love of Monument Realty and of the Herron Talks podcast. She's kind of our resident co-host, and she does a great job at it. So we're happy to have her back. And we also have our special guest today. And I think just even from our conversation before we even get started today, I think Jeff is going to be a regular. We'll have Jeff pop in on a regular basis. But Jeff Jannasch of Town Square Mortgage and Monument Square Mortgage, he is vice. Let me make sure I get your title right. I always mess it up because you the man.
That's all right. Executive vice president.
Executive vice president
and branch manager.
And branch manager. Yeah, you want to always get it right because when as you start moving up, ascending in the company or the company you help create, so you want to make sure you have the right title. And so, but more importantly than that, so for anybody who has any kind of mortgage question, mortgage need, just needs to know about anything mortgage related, Jeff Jannasch is the guy. I mean, he's got a tremendous company, and so he's got a lot of great LOs. Of course, we've had Gracie Perez on the show before, and we love Gracie. Well, Jeff Jannasch is the guy who's running that place, and he does a great job. He's allowed to run it, right? You go. But he's got a team of tremendous people, and I always say that one of the things that happens a lot where people who don't have things that they probably could have, like a home or something like that, it's only because they don't have the knowledge, right? Or they don't have the right connection. They've not talked to the right person. They've not been guided in a certain way. And so Jeff is that kind of resource, I think, that we certainly want to make available to all the people who listen to us or see us. There's really no reason for somebody who's decided that they want to be a homeowner to not take the step to try to make that happen. And so for some people, it doesn't happen in just 30 days. But for those who say, this is what I want to do, there's a plan that can be put in place, and we can make it happen no matter what. Don't try to disqualify yourself. A lot of people, they self-disqualify.
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't even try.
Right. Because, Jeff, you always said, and you just said it the other day, the motto there at Town Square is what? We get it done. That's the motto. And, I think what comes along with that is when people are hesitant about and they self-disqualify themselves, it's because they're like, oh, I have this and I've had that and I've read online this or whatever. And a lot of it's myth and it's very generic. Right.
And so no matter what, when you have a conversation with us, I tell people, when you get off the phone, you're going to know what you need to do.
Right.
And so there's no yes or no. Like, I don't go on the phone and say, oh, yes, you're pre-qualified.
Right.
I will say, hey, yeah, you're good up to this amount and we can do this and blah, blah, blah. People that say, you know what, here's what we need to do. We need to work on this, and here's what we need to do to get your income to this, or we need to get your credit to this, and we'll set a plan in place for them. And, it's up to the client at the end of the day to execute the plan, but we are going to always create the plan. So there's no yes or no. It's just a conversation we're having. We're just talking about home ownership, what it takes, and what do we got to do to get there.
Right. And I think that's the fear so many people have, and Bonita, you've probably seen this too. I think people are so scared of no or rejection, and no, for somebody to say, okay, no, we can't do it right now because of this A, B, and C, but here's how we remedy A, B, and C, and we can get this done here in the next 3-6 months, right?
Right. And some of it can be money. Like, people disqualify and say, I don't even have any money. I can't go buy a house. Well, they have down payment assistance programs. Sure. We move people in with zero out of pocket.
Yes.
Right.
All the time. Every month there's someone going in there. Had a story yesterday. They called me and they're like, hey, yeah, we just got our client in for $500 total out of pocket. Right. Well, I guarantee you have an extra $500 laying around if you're motivated enough to buy a house.
Listen, you can't move into an apartment for
No.
for $500, right?
No.
It's amazing, and so a lot of people stay stuck in certain positions mainly because they don't venture out and try to see what's available. And so, again, we'll talk more about that, but I just wanted to kind of set up and let them know who is here with us. We got a we got a big wig in the industry and Jeff hanging out with us. But
that.
he's trying to be modest. He's
Right.
going to be modest. But Jeff, before we get started, I always like people to kind of get to know personalities. So I like to have conversations about other things first, so people can kind of know. Okay, I think I like that guy. I'll reach out and talk to him. But I actually wanted to open it up to because Bonita was having some issues. I wouldn't say issues, but Bonita, you had something on your mind, and
we got to get that out.
yeah, we and we want the people who are listening today to kind of be part of that. I'm curious to hear Jeff's reaction to this, but you asked us a question. I guess you were asking in general about a certain procedure that happens a lot, and you wanted to know what we thought of it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you pose the question or state what you
Okay, I guess let me pose it this way. Recently, I guess in entertainment news, someone died. This was yesterday. Went to go get a surgery done. It's called the mommy makeover, where you basically like a tummy tuck. I think it's a fat transfer to your butt. But anyway,
fat transfer from the stomach area.
I don't know
to-
exactly.
okay,
I don't want to,
okay.
you know,
You don't
give
want
the
to.
wrong information.
Okay.
But basically, you know, tightening up a lot of things and augmenting some other things,
Okay.
parts of your body. So, but no, so basically, and I talk to a lot of women. I know people that have, you know, done enhancements. I'm not against it at all. But, you know, I think the argument is that, you know, men say, oh, y'all aren't doing this for us. You're doing this, you know, for yourself. We don't care about this. We don't want this. I guess, what do you guys think about the whole, because this is like a trend now, I guess now, you know.
When you say a trend, you're saying that this is something that you're seeing much more frequently than you had in the past.
Yes.
And I guess this mommy makeover, this is what we also call, this is a BBL too.
I think it
thing.
includes like a BBL.
And
the
for-
BBL for
What is a BBL?
Well, yeah, what does that stand
is
for?
a Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not against anyone enhancing their body. Do what makes you happy.
Okay.
You know.
All right, but
surgery is a big risk. I will say that as well.
okay, but what you're asking us is, what do guys think about that, or ladies who do that?
Yeah, what do you think as a man? You know.
I'll let you fire away first on this.
That actually wasn't my question, but somehow, yeah. let's-
Okay, I mean, so what is your question?
I just wanted to have discussion about it, but okay, I didn't actually have a question, but yeah.
Okay.
But what are your thoughts about this? What do you know, if you had a daughter and she was, you know,
I got one.
25. How old is your daughter, Jeff?
21.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's okay. Yeah, and
that's the other thing. A lot of young girls.
Oh, doing
you
that?
know, yeah, they haven't grown up yet, really. But okay, so if you had a daughter, let's just say 25, 30. And, you know, she wanted to go get some enhancements done.
I mean,
It's different when you say daughter, though.
There's
yeah,
no
it
dad.
is. It's a little
Yeah,
different.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be like,
just-
yeah, that's cool. I want my
Yeah.
daughter to go get enhancements.
correct. Yeah,
I'm
that's-
sorry.
absolutely. That's you're right.
Now-
So the answer would be no. You're good. Thank God. I've got 3 boys. So
You're lucky.
yeah, right. That's
I love you, honey.
But as far as, you know, if somebody wants to do something, if they think that is necessary for them to feel more comfortable in their skin, or they think that will do something, will enhance them in a certain way, I can't try to, you know, say, you know, don't do this, don't do that. It's whatever's best for them. But if a woman is trying to do that in order to attract a man or something like that, I think there's a danger there that you've decided to push all your chips into the middle of the table, and you're going to bet on this BBL to land you a man. So you're saying, ahead of my intellect, ahead of my personality, ahead of my heart, I need this bigger butt, these larger breasts, right, to attract a man. So what you attempt to attract by using, it's just like what kind of fish you catch has a lot to do with the kind of bait you use, right?
Right.
And so the lady who's saying, "Oh, I want a good man who cares about, me and my well-being and wants to take care of me and wants to raise a family with me, wants to be a true family man." Pay attention to the bait you're using, right? So it's not so good guys will be attracted to it, right?
Okay,
yeah. So it's not saying that
right.
excludes good guys, but the really good guys, the quality dudes, need you to have a lot more than just that. Now, a good guy will go home with you and will be glad to test out your enhancements and want to see it up close and
I'm still in that.
right. So a good guy will do that. I'm not saying that it's just bad dudes who'll do it. They'll if that's what you put on display and you said this is me and this is what's available. They'll take advantage of it. But here's the situation. Then, not knowing that there's going to have to be some other things in place. In other words, your intellect's got to be a certain way. Your mindset. For the good guy to say, "I'm gonna make some kind of commitment to you," and then we go further. You got to make sure don't invest all that money in that BBL and don't invest in reading a book from time to time, or kind of getting your life together.
Right.
Because all you will be able to go get is some dude who wants to be with you tonight or until your BBL doesn't look as good as the next BBL, right?
Wow.
So that's my opinion.
And I want to hear Jeff's. But so you're saying that, do you feel like, because I know what's going to happen when people hear this, that may have had a BBL.
Well, it's not whatever your enhancement is.
But
right?
I feel like, are you trying to say that women, who may have had that, they're looked at as they're not maybe as intelligent?
Oh,
or
no,
intellectual?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. Not saying that at all.
Okay.
No, I'm glad you gave me a chance to
Right.
clarify.
Because I'm telling you, I know. I hear all the sides of the conversation, so.
Yeah. Before Jeff jumps in, let me clarify that so they won't be putting me out there like that. I'm not saying that at all. If you want to, those enhancements, and some of them they look great. I mean, they're amazing. But I'm just saying, also, what will help you is to have all the other stuff too, and just as enticing for some folks, and just as attractive for a lot of people is, for me, I like. I would want a woman who is smart, who is somebody who would make me feel a certain way by being in their presence. In other words, they can hold a conversation. They can enhance me because they are kind and encouraging and all that kind of stuff. And so, because what will happen is unless you're just one of those rare breeds, I think Martha Stewart, was out there in the bathing suit the other day. Martha Stewart, she good for 81, but those pictures weren't hot. I'm like, so maybe if you're 100 or something, you would think, oh, she hot. But what I'm trying to say is the looks will fade, right? And it's not, and I wouldn't want to be one of those guys left with once those looks fade, and then now I'm left with This is all you got right here. That's the problem. But no, there are a lot of intelligent women who've done that, and wow, that's great. To each his own. I'm just saying, do not limit a man and a man's thinking and ability to select a mate to just his looking at your outward appearance, right? Because I think that's where a lot of women do make a mistake, because guys are a little more intelligent than that, right? There are some guys who are very primitive and like cavemen. That's all they might be looking at. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to make a long-term commitment with somebody, nobody wants to be with an idiot with a great body.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to jump in on this just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to stick my toe in the water here. But I will say this, depending on at that moment, is someone who's married or not married, right? Because there's women that do it that are married.
Right.
And what are they doing that for? They, that a conversation, but at the end of the day, like if you get in the gym and do the work, a lot of times, a lot of those enhancements can happen automatic, by doing the work and putting in the time, and it doesn't happen overnight. And people they want the quick fix, right? Obviously some upper body enhancements can't happen in the gym, but
and some lower body really can't. I mean, if you flat, some women who got that extended back, right? Where the back comes all the way from the shoulders down to the upper thigh.
I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm just saying that I see a lot of people that do it that don't need to do it.
Right. Okay.
And that is a big part of, like, I would say I've been around a lot of people that will look in the mirror, and we all do this. We look in the mirror and all you see is the flaws. You don't see, oh my God, I look good. Right. You look in the mirror and all you see is the bad. Right. And you're just like, okay, but the question is, why are you doing it? Like you asked. And, I think people have to have that internal communication with themselves and like, hey, I feel good about myself. If I'm trying to get to a certain point and I know I can't get there, and that for whatever reason I feel like that's going to make me feel better about myself and feel more confident or whatever, hey, I'm 100% behind it. Go do it. Yeah. But I do see a lot of people just do it out of just laziness. Right. Like, I don't want to go put in the work to do this. Right. Even though they have the ability to be that, they want the shortcut. Right. Right. And so, everybody, I don't judge anybody because I wasn't in their shoes. I didn't grow up how they grew up. I don't know what they've gone through. And the mental battles that, they've gone through with relationships that, scar people. So I definitely don't judge anybody. I mean, you do what you do you. And, if it's going to be a fit for me, if I'm, in that market, I'm not. Right. And if I'm in that market, then, that would be someone, hey, maybe I'll reach out to and talk to, but, you do you. That's what I always say. You do you, and whatever makes you feel good about yourself. It's your life. No regret, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I think that was good. Yeah. And Jeff is in a relationship, of course, but I'm saying even when you were outside of a relationship, is that attractive to you? So when you see,
well, I don't know. The thing is, if I walk in, I've never met the person. I don't know what is real and not real just from. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Yeah, okay. But sometimes you don't know. And so I would say, there's times it's good and sometimes it's bad, depending on how it looks on their body and their situation. You can have all the work in the world and some of you are like, dang, that girl looks good. Right. Sometimes you're going there like, golly, what the heck did she do? Right. I mean, like, you spent a lot of money where you shouldn't have spent. Yeah. Right. So, it just it's case by case. That's what I say. Right. So it's not a yes or no. It's we'll see.
Yeah. And I feel the exact same way. There's some women who've done a great job. There's some guys who do some stuff too, right? But that's not who I'm talking about. But there are women who you can go too far, right? You can go too far, and there are women right now who may have done something maybe 5 years ago, and now 5 years later, that big donk that they put on there now looks like you carrying around an ottoman on your back. You got an ottoman strapped to your back.
Most people that do stuff don't do more than one surgery.
Oh yeah,
right.
It's like an addiction. It's like an obsession. So it's very rare that people go do one surgery and that's it. They end up doing one surgery and they're like, oh, okay, well now I can do this and now I can do that. So
you see a lot of that north with the faces. South, I see a lot of the butts getting too big, but up north, I see a lot of faces that are just way stretched out into, you know what I mean?
I think that's
you look. Huh? You don't see. No, I'm saying
Texas. You mean
no. I mean south. I'm talking about south of the Trinity. I see more
nationwide, but okay.
No. I don't know what's nationwide. I'm just trying to tell you locally what I see.
Oh, okay.
So
I think what I see is
I didn't know where the north and south was going.
Head or no. So no. So you'll see like you go to any restaurant tonight, any high-end restaurant tonight in North Dallas, and you will see a lot of
augmentation,
expressionless, you know what I mean, women at a table with other women and they all laugh, but you can't, you can't see any kind of nothing moves. You know what I mean? You'll see a lot of that, right? Go to an event, at some spot I don't know where exactly, but go south of the Trinity, and you won't see as much of that, but you'll see a lot of that, right? Whether what I mean, like somebody trying to box out. You playing basketball, and everybody, that whole group, they all boxing out. You know what I'm talking about?
If you're listening to this, go watch this on YouTube so you can see.
No, it's a lot.
This is gold, y'all. This is gold.
There's a lot of boxing out going on.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you're saying.
They're different things, and so it makes me think a lot of it's not done so much for guys. It's because I want to look like the girls. I'm doing this more for the girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
Because they birds of a feather kind of flock together, and so they all kind of have the same look, the same. Again, do what you want to do. I'm just saying, do it in, just do it in moderation, right? There's no need to overdo it. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. That's it.
All right. Yeah. That went a little longer, but I just wanted to make sure my point was made. And there's gonna be some people that will be mad with that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Do you think so?
maybe, but
Everybody's always about mad.
yeah,
Something.
something.
That's true. That's true.
There's just people mad out there, just mad in general.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I'm just saying. So do what you want to do. It's all good.
On a lighter note.
On another note. See, our question was gonna be a lot easier. I was gonna do the same one we did with Brandon.
What's that?
You have to go to a party.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking for business in that party. So that party's full of all kind of different people, different socioeconomic situations, different races, different political beliefs, and so you're going to go in there, and you got to impress enough people to get them to send you business. You mortgages, or you real estate, or whatever. And you can pick one person. You just can't take your significant other or your spouse. You have to pick somebody else, and you can pick anybody just as long as they're alive. And you want to make an impression in this place and want to go get as much business as you can. Who are you going to select to go to that party with you?
All right, we kind of touched on this, but I'm going to hang with my answer, which is Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that even more. Like Michael Jordan, like you bring in Michael Jordan, everybody in the athletic world knows Michael Jordan, but everybody everywhere knows about Michael Jordan, because who isn't wearing Jordan 1s right now?
Right.
I mean, come on, seriously.
Right.
I mean, it's in the fashion world, it's in the athletic world, and it's just in the business world too. Like, I mean, just his killer instinct and what he did things. I mean, you walk in with him, everybody's going to want to be your friend. Everybody want to talk to him, at least have a conversation with him.
Right.
I mean, that dude like just brings a presence that, I don't know. I tried to think of someone else, and I'm sure I could think of a better, more elegant answer. Mm-hmm. But I just think that dude is it, you know?
It's one of the deals that everybody would want to know immediately. So the moment the party's over and you're gone away from there and you start calling people on Monday who were at the party, everybody's going to ask you, hey, if they haven't called you already. Like, hey, Jeff, how you know Michael Jordan?
Yeah,
right. So I think Michael Jordan is a really, really good answer.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with him, man. I'm telling you, I thought about that even more after we mentioned it. And I'm staying with it because he is like, I didn't even think of last time. I was thinking just in the athletic community, but the fashion community. I mean, everything. I mean, Jordans and Jordan, you know, he is.
Without that.
Amazing.
I'm going to agree.
So what, I want to hear what y'all got this time.
You got Bonita.
Come on, Bonita.
Well, like I said before.
Well, you probably did you think about it again?
No, I did.
Okay.
You don't even know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Al?
No, well, before, I had kind of was thinking along the same lines as Jeff. But I would go with Oprah.
Oh.
Okay.
There's a different answer.
I
like her. I like her.
I don't know anybody that doesn't like Oprah. And she's pretty well known. She's not somebody you can just call up and say, hey, come to this party with me. She's not just popping up everywhere.
No. And I think that's what's good about Michael Jordan, too. It's got to be somebody that they don't really have access to. And that makes you more impressive to them.
Where have you seen him out? He never goes out anywhere.
Right.
Like if you see him somewhere, it's just kind of
Not even in, like,
under
basketball games.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
And Oprah too. Like I
Right.
don't see Oprah anywhere in any
Exactly.
parties
Right.
and events or whatever. Like unless it's winning an award.
Right. Huh.
So yeah, I would go
Okay.
Oprah.
Okay.
I do like that.
We've had time to think about this. Now.
Right.
We have. So I want to make an impression enough to where even the people who see me with this person who may not know this person, they may have just heard of them, but I need it to be when they go home or when they hear other people like, wow, I can't believe Al is with, right? And then when they go home and maybe tell their kids, hey, my business friend Al showed up with this person, and they go, what? I can't believe what? I need it to where it is a big enough impression to where it resonates with other people they deal with, because then it'll become a bigger deal.
Right.
That person who didn't really know, like, I didn't know who she was, but then they were like, what? No.
Yeah.
So it would be for me, it would probably be Beyonce.
Do it.
Yeah, it would have to be Beyonce, only because I think she's not accessible, right? I mean, she doesn't do a whole lot of interviews, none of that kind of stuff. So she's kind of an enigma, but popular enough, but distant enough to where people will be like, dang, okay, Al, how do you have, what's the affiliation? And I think that, I think that I can get the most from that. So the next day when I'm calling clients or people who saw me there with Beyonce, they're going to spend the first part of the conversation all about, okay, what was she like? What was all,
Oh, man.
how do you know her, right?
Right.
And I think I'm in. I'm in. That'll give me, that buys me a little political capital. Back in the day when political candidates were running for president in particular, the Kennedy family, the father, Kennedy, thought it was important that the spouse of the candidate, John Kennedy in this case, needed to have a certain look, needed to have a certain quality, needed to be to where the people who were possibly going to vote for him were impressed that he was able to pull her. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
And so somebody who was just, if it's 6 in one and half a dozen in the other, I'm going to go with him because now that's impressive. Somehow he was able to get her. So part of his marrying Jack Kennedy was the look. And she had a very, her appearance was more French runway model versus,
Beautiful girl.
Right. She wasn't the typical presidential candidate spouse, right?
Not at all.
And so there are a lot of people who like that got him some capital. And so, the same thing here. We will a lot of times give somebody the benefit based on the connection. Who are they associated with? And that association makes me say, oh, wow, he must be pretty connected. He must know something. He must be an important person. And so, that's a really big deal. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to those affiliations. And
it helps.
It helps.
Hey,
And
like you always say, has them remember you.
absolutely. And that's what you want to happen in our business, in particular in mortgages too. People have a lot of choices about who they can use to help them do a real estate transaction. And a lot of people really just kind of default to whoever's right there at that moment.
Right.
So I drive by a house and I see that particular sign, so I call the person on the sign,
Right.
and I end up working with them. Not really out of choice. It was just there was a house that I liked and had their sign in front of it. And so when you're in a business like that where people can make decisions that way, it is so important for you to find a way to get your name, image, and likeness, for lack of a better term, out into the social sphere to where everybody can see you and get to know you, but not only see you and get to know you, or not just see you, but they need to get to know you is what I mean to say. And so people feel like they know you and especially in this day and age, because people don't really know folks. They just go, I'm friends with them on Facebook.
Right.
But y'all ain't really
I've seen
friends.
him talk a couple
Yeah.
times.
Right,
He's my
right.
good friend.
I know
He's my
Right,
good
right. That's
friend.
my buddy. Right, yeah. But that's how people make decisions nowadays. And so it is so important that your affiliations line up in such a way that they help you
Right.
look appealing to whoever is possibly trying to make a decision. And so it's so important that real estate agents or whoever's in sales, it's not just real estate, it's whatever. Anytime you're selling something, and a lot of people who are not in sales don't realize they're selling something every day. If you're trying to get a promotion at work, you're selling, right?
Yeah.
Anything. If you're trying to get, you want that man, you want that woman, you're selling, right? But people don't understand that, and it's not top of mind of them to make sure, okay, be aware of your associations, be aware of who people associate you with, or what your affiliations are. And so it's amazing to me that most people have not understood how important that kind of thing is. So like on the flip side of this, if I said, okay, you got to go to that same party,
Right.
but now I need you to go, you have to be saddled with somebody. Somebody you probably didn't want to go, somebody's going to make it hard for you to get business.
Yeah.
And so and I'm going to give you 3 options. We did this with Brandon Small.
yeah.
We gave him 3 options, and he kind of even brought me along on one of them.
Pretty good
Right.
reasoning.
He had good reasoning. But so you've got these 3. Number 1, you can take Kanye West.
Okay.
Number 2, you can take Donald Trump.
Right.
And number 3, you can take O.J. Simpson. But you got to take one of them,
Okay.
right? Who you taking to that party?
Well, last time I'm going to go stick with my same. Last time I went with Kanye West, and Kanye West, I feel like I would be safer.
Why is that? Why are you safer with Kanye than
Because Donald Trump, he's got people that love him. Boy, he has people that hate him. And O.J. Simpson, you just got to watch your back. You just got to watch your back.
O.J. is not going to.
Allegedly.
Yeah. See how y'all do O.J. O.J. is not going to. O.J. has done all the
He's done
harming and murdering he's going to do. O.J.
Oh, he's done?
Yeah, I think he's
okay.
done. I would hope he's done.
I think, at least with
He might
Kanye-
murder your career. That's true.
At least with Kanye, I might get some good music in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some
Yeah.
entertainment
Right.
in there. I don't know. I mean, Donald Trump was the president of the United States. That would be pretty interesting to have him in there to know some stuff behind the scenes. But golly, just getting through some of his just personality is just like, oof. Okay.
And that's the danger about him, because he's inclined to say almost anything. And he's when they're just too radioactive. That's
right.
what.
That's the deal. If I walk in with him, honestly, I have no problem with what he talks. I just ignore most of what he says. I'm just trying, what is he doing?
Right.
Right. And honestly, some of it's interesting. He does good things and things that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But
Right.
whatever. But at the end of the day, it would be very interesting. But he's so radioactive. It creates such a, I love him or I hate him.
Right.
And when they hate him, it is passionate
Right.
hate.
And that's going to fall on you, because
I
they're going
know.
to hate you too.
I know.
They were
Yeah.
like,
I mean, Kanye
Yeah.
West, everybody's like, oh, that guy's an idiot. But I don't know that it's passionate hate.
Right.
well,
mean-
until he says something, he will say something that would,
I know.
you know what I mean? That
Anti-Semitic or
Or
He'll say something, piss off some groups, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. But
anti-Semitic,
Right.
he'll say something homophobic. He'll say,
but I just think people don't take him as serious.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like
That's a good
it's
point.
Kanye
Yeah.
West. Like, who cares?
You're
You know,
right.
like when Donald Trump says something, you're just like, whoa, Donald. You know, like we
You're
got
right.
it because he was president of the United States. I'm probably going to run again, and
Right.
it's you take him serious.
Right. Okay.
And Kanye, I just don't think people take it serious. I
Right.
mean, O.J. Simpson, I'm not going to hang out with that guy.
Right.
He shouldn't be where he's at right now.
That's-
And after everything happened, I just can't.
and see, and that's the level of radioactivity he
Yeah.
has, because there'll be people who will walk out of that place.
Right.
If you walk
Oh,
in
yeah.
there with him, then there's going to be people walk out with all of them.
all of them probably.
yeah.
Right. But Kanye, I just think the
No, I don't
least
think-
people
yeah, I
walk
don't-
out on
yeah,
him
I
because they
think,
just
yeah, with
don't take him
Kanye.
as serious because it's so his idiocracy
Yeah.
is so much sometimes. You're just like, what? Oh God.
They'll just go to the other side of the room. They won't actually leave.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And they'll just say, hey, go sing a song.
Okay. This was so, Brandon was sliding going Trump because, see, he's a real estate guy. Well, is he, though? I mean, a lot of the properties, well, let me not do that because there are Trumpers who watch us and listen to us and they'll think, oh, Al was talking bad about Donald Trump. We going to cancel Al. Get rid of Al. They love him or hate him. And then the ones who hear me act like I might go to the deal with Trump, they'll think it's like for real. Al would go. So
I voted for him.
Right.
Unfortunately.
You did vote for him?
Unfortunately, I did.
Well,
I'm a Republican. I stay Republican just for
gotcha.
some of the basics, foundations of it. So.
I gotcha. Yeah, interesting. We'll get back to that in a second because I'm curious about that, and that's cool. If you're a Republican, I get it. I do believe he hijacked the party because there's really nothing Republican about him.
Well, he was a Democrat.
Sure. And he called Republicans idiots and said that he could run as a Republican because they believe anything, and he was kind of,
I feel like my reasoning behind it is you've got to run America as a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business, and he's politically incorrect, and so it kind of divides. So I don't like that part of it. He just creates a divide in a big way, makes everybody too passionate to one side or the other, and I don't like that at all. Like people we got to come together, we got to work together because why do you think every few years it switches? Like it goes to Democrat to Republican to Democrat because there's flaws on both sides, right? There's flaws on both sides. So there's the right is in the middle somewhere in there, and so we got to bounce back and forth. But for the most part, the philosophy of the Republican Party and how they generally do business and what America I feel like is more based on is why I vote that way. But Trump just happened to be the candidate that year.
Sure, without a doubt, and the thinking of having a businessman in that position is very appealing.
Right.
If you pay attention to the businessman's real business record. Right. How successful was he in business? Right.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how debatable it is now that we see more about how he was conducting business. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
So we've turned into a
I'm turning off politics.
Right. Yeah. We don't want to do that. Yeah. We don't. Okay. So, Bonita, who you rolling with?
Oh, I didn't know this was a question for me too.
Yes, you too.
I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, Kanye is probably the safer bet.
Okay.
I mean, they all are radioactive.
Yeah, I think the one who most certainly you can't do is OJ.
Yeah.
I think the OJ thing is just it's a non-starter because OJ's gonna ham it up too. OJ's gonna be like y'all best friends. Hey, I want y'all to meet my buddy Jeff, meet my girl Bonita. Me and Bonita, it'll go through that place like y'all.
So I wouldn't bring him, but I would be interested to see how that would play out because before the whole murder, he was very, very likable.
Oh,
everybody loved him.
Was the juice.
So I would actually wonder after all these years, and then obviously people still hate him or don't like him, whatever. I would actually be interested to see how that would play out at a party if somebody brought OJ. Like, how would people really react to him?
He's a bit now. Like he's just a meme or a bit, whatever you want to call him. That's just what he is now. I mean, like.
So if I didn't have
makes you feel dirty.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. Because I don't think he won't do anything crazy like Trump or Kanye.
Right.
It's just having him there.
Yeah, right. Just the odor of him is going to be on
the dirtiness of
right. Just hanging
OJ?
with you with OJ.
I mean, like right. Yeah. I mean, even Trump, you'd be entertained. I mean, like bad, good, whatever. You'd be entertained.
And Kanye too.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
You would be entertained too. He's going to do something to entertain you.
Yeah. Shoot. Hey, you might be right. I could probably make because here's what'll happen. And when Kanye does finally say something that's crazy, people will say, well, you know the dude.
It's Kanye.
That dude's crazy.
Right.
Like,
dude is crazy. Yeah.
He's a musician. He's like, stay over there and be a musician.
They'd be like, but the College Dropout album was on.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's got some good music.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's how we would go. Now, we'll ask this, though. I will say this, not ask. If I were in a space where OJ was, I probably would try to talk to him.
I'm guilty.
Yeah. You guilty.
I would want to talk to him.
Yeah, right.
I
would want
just,
to.
It just the train wreck of it all. It just
Right.
like
What
the
would you
traction of it.
What do you wanted to talk to him about?
I would just say, see, my sister, I'm gonna have Tasha on the show one day. My sister would ask him.
Did you really do it?
But she would do it like she knows,
Yeah.
like
So,
hey,
like,
like
what
OJ,
happened?
like dude, what made you do that?
Yeah.
That's how she would approach him.
Mm-hmm.
What made you? What did she do to make you, do that? Then he probably get mad. Hopefully, he just got plastic utensils. He's sitting there eating for real silverware. It might be on and popping, but she probably would ask him, what was all that about? Or ask him, hey, maybe it wasn't you, but did your son do that? Mm-hmm. Right? I remember all those theories about what really happened. We know what happened. But anyway, so yeah, I would probably ask him some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, we grew up with him. Like I used to have his football cards. I collected it. He was the man.
He was the man.
Like as far as football players.
Right.
Sure. Right. Well, even he was the dude. He was good looking dude, and everybody loved
a lot of
the juice.
charisma, everything. He was.
Golly.
Y'all remember when you tried to put that glove on, and if you ever see it again, it's the most ridiculous thing. So the glove, he gets the glove like halfway on. He doesn't really. He just sitting there, he pulling on it like it. I'm like, dog, I would have stopped. I would have said, OJ, let me come help you put that glove on. Right? Because you sitting there playing with it. Put this glove on, OJ.
Yeah, that was.
OJ. That was like, man, who is letting him get away with just? He got it halfway on his hand. He pulling on. I'm like, man, that glove fit. Shoot, OJ, the juice. And say there could be some people mad about me talking about OJ. Man, OJ didn't do it.
A show people gonna be mad at, huh?
I guess so. Like, man,
Welcome back to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be next week's gonna be the Bonita Love Talks podcast. Like I said, we don't want to hear from him anymore.
Al can't come on the show for
Let's go. So this is Bonita Love podcast host, co-host Jeff Jannasch. So
I'll co-host.
So let's do this with our last little part of this, because Jeff, here's the thing. You can help me with this too, because you had to do this. We know how you got started in the business. You started off, you were a bartender after school, after you finished during school. Then you got into the business of office furniture sales. Oh, yeah. And then one day you ran into an old friend who was in mortgages.
Right.
And he was talking about how well he was doing.
Right.
And then he fooled around and showed you a check.
He showed me his pay stub. He's like, hey, man, like you need to come do this. Let me show you something. He showed me his pay stub. I was like, whoa. And, at that time, my boss that, I'd started in the industry and I had a, guy who got me into the industry. Well, he ended up selling to another guy. And so I had a new boss. So I'd been working with him for, 6, 8 months, 9 months, whatever. Total jerk. I mean, just, talked down to me and just, I worked 7 to 7, I was that 7-7 guy. And I was unhappy. So this guy hit me right at the right time. He's like, hey, here's what I'm doing. And I knew this guy, and this guy could sell. He was such a good sales guy. The guy came to me and showed me his pay stub. He could sell iced Eskimos. I always use that term. That's the old term. But I just knew he would go watch a matinee in the middle of the day. His work ethic just wasn't, what I was. I'm a grinder. Let's get down, let's grind, let's do this. And I felt like if he can do this, I can do this. I didn't know that I, necessarily be a lot better than him. Right. But I knew I could do probably what he's doing, or be close. And he was making good money. And so I thought, and I thought, well, mortgages, all right, I'm all right in finance, but whatever, we'll go do this. So I got into it, and it just clicked. Like I love the idea of helping people, because I'm one of those people. I just generally like to help people, and you got to change people's lives. I mean, I didn't know that going in. It wasn't like I made this real calculated decision on like, oh my God, this is going to change people's lives. I didn't think about that. I got in and I found out, I was like, wow, this is crazy how it affects people and all the emotions that are involved in a real estate transaction. And it clicked with me. I don't know. I liked it. I got addicted to it because I liked the passion that came with it and the helping people and everybody that's involved. And, I get to, I'm a very social guy, so I like to talk to people and people, you know, when it comes to real estate, people always have an opinion on what, and they always want to talk about it. So everywhere I go, I mean, as soon as they find out what to do, oh, what are rates going to do? You know, what is the real estate market going to do? You know, so everybody wants to talk about it. So I love it. I love what I do.
Right. And so you got in it and got really good. Now you're also kind of competitive. I know you played sports in high school, and you played even as an adult. You did a lot of, you know, whether it's tennis or you play soccer, all that kind of stuff. So there's a competitiveness to you. And so you get in this business, and what does competitiveness look like in this field? So in your mind, as you were doing this, was it trying to be the very best at that company, to be the best in the industry?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
That's a great question. So when I got going, we were this little small branch that I got pulled into, and you know, the first thing I did was just trying to find my way. You know, I was super competitive, always have been, to the point where it was detrimental to me sometimes in sports. But you know, I got going, and I got pretty good at it. You know, just started building relationships, started looking around. Okay, what is everybody else doing? Like, okay, well, he's doing that, and I'm like, oh my God, if he can do that, I can do this. You know, it was just like, okay, well, you know what, I just got to outwork this guy. I'm gonna go work harder, and you know, I'd always look around me, and then you know, I was working for this company, the very first company I worked for, and I was, you know, getting recognized nationally with them. And I was like, okay, we get, you know, this is obviously a good fit for me. So then, you know, that company started having some issues, and I went to another company and got on. Then there's some really good loan originators that were working there, and I was like, oh, well, this guy's doing this, I got to do this. And one of the guys that stayed with me, that moved with me to companies, one of the other originators, he was a real good originator too. He and I were just like neck and neck always. So we were 1 and 2 at this other company, moved over to this other company. We were 1 and 2 at this other company, and then we just competed against each other. And then other people that were around us were good, and we were just like, okay, you know, he and I would talk about it, like, I'm gonna whip your butt, you know, like I was, you know, that's what we talked about. And then we'd go grind it out, and there was another gentleman we met there, a guy still a partner of mine now, and he was real good, and he was like, I'm gonna kill y'all, I'm gonna whip y'all, you know. And so we were battling, and 1 month I lost for the year. I was like so disappointed. This guy did unbelievable amount this last month. I don't know how he got all the origination. We were all close. And I was like, okay, that's not happening again. You know, so then next year I just scorched earth everybody, you know, whipped everybody. So it was just, I don't know, it was just that competitive that drive me every day. It wasn't, the money didn't drive me, you know, that was the result.
Right.
But it was never the money. The money never, you know, like I wanted to make a certain amount, you know, from that pay stub. And I was like, okay, that's where I want to be. But, you know, then when you get over there and you get going, you know, you're below way beyond that pay stub, you know. Well,
and then in a business like that, because just like in real estate, you know, you don't get paid for not doing anything.
Oh,
I mean, you have to, you eat what you kill, basically. And so because you're not salaried, and this is all commission based, because a lot of people who sit on the fence who say, I think I want to get into real estate, but you know, I'm used to this 9 to 5. I'm used to that check on the first 15th. How did this work for you? How were you not fearfully able to move into this and then figure out I can live and survive in this?
That is a great question, because it was a 100% commission job. And back when we did it, it was like I call it the Wild West of mortgages, you know, because anything went, you know. And I just always had a little bit of an appetite for risk, you know, when it came to myself. You know, like, okay, I can do this. And then it was no, you know, there's no option, no choice. I got to go do it. And I just focused on what I had to do each day and how to get better each day. And like I said, everything else kind of took care of it. I happened to be at the time I was married, and, you know, I talked about it with my spouse, and I said, hey, you know, here's what I want to do. And she was like, yeah, okay, you know, I got you, you know, for a little bit. But it didn't take me long. I mean, probably a few months to get going to where I got back to where I was. It only took like a few months, and then, you know, things started going up. But it was still very volatile. I was still very nervous. Like, hey, I wasn't working for a mortgage company. Now I need to go buy a house. I was scared to buy a house because I'm like, you know, I started having kids, and you know, I'm still making 100% commission. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's you know, you basically, when you're 100% commission, I don't care what anybody tells you. You own your own business.
Without a doubt.
I mean, no doubt. Whether you're 1099, whether you're W-2, you own your own business. You are your business. You are your brand, right? And you have to go sell your business, you know, sell your brand, right? And I just looked at it like I enjoyed helping people, and it just all kind of happened naturally. And if I put in the work and cared enough, it would happen.
Gotcha. Is there, so as you were there and competing and doing your thing, did you learn that there was something that you were able to do or did better than or differently than others that made it to where you were generally the person who performed the best?
Yeah, I worked the hardest. I mean, I used to have at a point where I would be the first one in and the last one out. It was a thing for me. You know, it's funny. I hear that from athletes now. The last one off the court, right? I mean, I wanted to be the first one to the office, and I want to be the last one to leave. And it wasn't like thing that I was like, okay, I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to be the first one there.
I'm just show up and drink some coffee and hang out, right?
I just felt like I had urgency I created myself urgency somehow, and I had this self urgency. I don't know what it was. I mean, you know, now I'm 52. It's different now, right? I don't want to be the first one in, last one out every night, because I got, I had family and all that. You know, after a while, it changed a little bit, and I had to adjust things a little bit. But for a long time, it was just, I felt like if I could outwork them, I would be the best, or, be number one at the office. And, then you start looking around and like, okay, my numbers are pretty serious here, like even, throughout the DFW area.
Right.
And then nationally too, whatever. But I didn't pay attention to all that. I mean, it was great to get an award, but honestly, the thing that drove me was in that office, be able to talk smack to everybody. That was a big thing to me. If you know me, I talk a little smack, but I do it in fun. I always, if I'm not talking smack to you, that means I don't like you.
Right.
So if I'm not talking a little, I'm sarcastic, talk smack to you, I probably don't like you.
Right. There's a bunch of people listening right now. Hey, I don't think he knows. I don't ever hear from Jeff. They're like, okay, I guess
if I see you, I probably did that.
Right. So now, Jeff, is there then, I would imagine with you being in mortgages, you had to find a way, because I don't want people to hear outworked him and didn't realize there's also some skill to that too. So you had to also find out or learn or be able to show people different products, different ways to do things. In other words, you had to be a solution-based person. As long as you had solutions, you can make things happen for folks.
Amen. And I think the thing that I realized is I used to, when I was younger, I would kind of get myself into a lot of trouble. I'd create it by doing dumb things. And so I was always trying to get myself out of trouble. So I became a good problem solver, right? Yeah. Because I was always creating problems for myself.
Good training.
And I was like, man, and so I would say that I learned that I was a good problem solver and better than most, so I could really analytically problem solve situations. So when I talk to clients, I could create solutions just based on talking to them, and I learned that I was better than most people at that, and that was a strength. But my weakness was my attention to detail, and so I'd learned a lot about myself. But I'd really, really be self-analytical to where I'm watching. Okay, what am I not good at? What am I good at? And try to get better at those things. There's things even today that I'm not as good at, but I'm a heck of a lot better than I used to be. So I would put things in place that would, so when you mess up and you screw up something, that's how I would learn every time. But, I usually don't screw up the same thing twice.
Sure.
I learn from it and then try to put system in place that I know will prevent me from screwing it up again.
Sure.
And so, after 25 years, you got a lot of those.
Right.
I got so many little crutches and things that I do that, now. And so I think that I was always good at getting, pushing myself to get better all the time and problem solving. But, as far as, at the end of the day, it was just about my attention to detail, answering calls, taking texts, replying quickly. I did that better than most because I was very OCD about it, and really at the end of the day in sales, it's just communication, quick communication. If you get, if someone goes online, the reason why people buy a house when they drive by and see a sign is because it's immediate gratification. I want to see that house. I know someone, but what? I just want to know. I want to know now.
Exactly. I want this now.
And so you have to so the same thing applies in anything in sales. Like, people want to know things now. Like when you call and hey, I need to talk to you. If you don't get a hold of me and take too much time goes by, then I'm going to call somebody else. So I just made sure I answered my phone fast, reply to my text fast, no matter what I'm doing. I'm in a podcast. I didn't reply or answer any phone calls.
Right.
But, for the most part, I try to make it a point, for majority of my career of making sure I did that like that. And everybody around me, hey guys, reply fast, respond fast. People will think you're great customer service just because your communication's good.
Right.
That's the number one thing that people ask for. Probably on your side, your clients, is good communication. Yes. On my side, I go, hey, what are you looking for in a mortgage company? good communication. That's the number one thing. You know, from if you go ask a buyer, what are your rates? You know, because that's really all they know to ask, and they don't really understand all the dynamics behind it and why it matters that you're a local company that's reviewing documents versus a Rocket Mortgage. People don't know the difference and understand the problems that can happen there.
Right. That's good. So if you were, and I always bring it back to real estate because that's who we spend our time training and recruiting and helping real estate agents. If you were a real estate agent, or let's do it like this, you're starting in the business today. You're about to be a real estate agent for the first time. Tomorrow's going to be your first day.
Okay.
What is the first thing that you want to set up to try to get you to be successful? What's the first thing you're going to put in place?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I got to create a brand. I've got to decide what brand am I going to be and how am I going to go market my brand.
That's a great answer. That's an answer most people won't have. Most people are going to say something that's going to be a little more generic. It'll be useful. It'll be a good one. Like I'm gonna set up my database, or I'm gonna call my sphere. And those are all great answers. Those are things you're supposed to do. But you gave the best answer.
All right, like on the Family Feud.
Yeah. That's number one.
Yeah. Answer on the board.
If I was Steve Harvey, survey,
I love that dude.
You don't have to stay. Yeah, so you got the right answer. Jeff.
So good. So good.
You pray.
I love Al. I just want y'all to know that I love Al. And Bonita too.
Gosh.
So yeah, you got the best answer. So the deal is, when you talk about people love iPhones, right?
Yeah.
An iPhone is actually inferior to an Android, Samsung phone. iPhone, y'all people, y'all want.
Sure it is.
I would agree,
Jeff said yes.
You mean the Mickey Mouse phones?
See,
Mickey Mouse.
but let me tell you what.
That's what the Androids
But
are.
let me tell you, the reason the reason you believe that iPhone is superior and is the best thing, and you would never deviate from it, is because before they started selling it, there was a brand they were going to create,
right?
And they knew how they knew what the brand was going to stand for, and they knew how they were going to market the brand.
Right.
That's what they drew all that up first.
Starts there.
They drew that up first. Then they created a product that met that description.
Right. Here's my brand. I'm going to go do stuff to make my brand, to be what my brand
what I
is.
said it is.
Yeah.
Right. And they did it perfectly. And now there's a whole group of people who will never know anything other than an iPhone.
Right.
Right?
I'm one of them.
Right, sure.
I used to have a Samsung. The only reason I switched to iPhone is because it's better for business. Most people have iPhones, so it's better to communicate.
I had a
honestly.
Samsung for a while, and it was just, I don't remember why I switched. Oh, because all my kids were on Apple and everything. And so I was like, it was just inconvenient. Like, I want to be able to FaceTime
exactly.
whatever. So.
Most of my clients have iPhones, so, I'm able to FaceTime them or, like their.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, there's
like
a thing called Duo.
Yeah, but it's just different, No, I love my
disappointed in us.
Samsung. I get it, but it's just,
Again, my point is made though, right? That iPhone knew that they could capture a whole group of people by creating a brand. They created the product behind the brand. In other words, this is what this product is going to stand for. This is what it's going to do. This is how it's going to make people feel who own it. This is they knew all of that. They created all that first, and then they flooded the market with that campaign. And so then anybody who was looking to buy a phone, who wanted to feel that way, or wanted to do things that way, or wanted to be associated with that crowd, that's what they got. The problem with most real estate agents, most mortgage people, most independent business people who have to sell something other than what most people don't realize. So we're selling houses, but they don't realize what you're really selling is you. You as the person who's going to help them buy or sell a house, or you're the person who's going to help them get a mortgage and all that stuff. And so we never take the time to create the brand.
Right.
And then strategize on how we're going to market the brand.
Right.
We busy marketing houses, but we're busy marketing houses, but it's the house is not. The house is the house.
House sells itself.
Right. The house sells itself.
That's part of the marketing. That's just the
Right.
marketing piece
Right.
of your brand, right?
Right.
And to get them to call you and believe in you, and why do they trust you, and
Right.
what's his image, and I say image, and I use image. It just image of your brand.
Right. Right. That's absolutely.
iPhone. I learned this one day. iPhone. Everything in an iPhone is nothing's made by Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in an iPhone is made by another company.
Right.
So every other phone company could have made the same thing and done it the same way.
Every other phone company has done pretty much that.
Right. What they sold is ease of convenience and like made it where it was easier. I think in the very beginning, I think Samsung probably is exactly the same now. I would willing to bet that there's not much difference at all. Probably some benefits here that iPhone doesn't. Maybe iPhones has a little bit here, whatever it is. But they have sold the ease of and you get used to it, and then anything else now you got to go change.
Right.
And God forbid we got to go change.
Correct. Because now I'm
Don't let you have an
This is-
iPad and a MacBook.
Right, that was it.
So
I had to have my what was it called, the little square my music thing.
Oh yeah, the iPod.
iPod.
Yeah.
Well, iPod, but then they had the mini iPod.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
The smaller
The
one,
little bitty
little-
Nano
square,
pod.
Nanopod.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah,
Nanopod.
you couldn't have all that if you didn't have an iPhone. Like,
Right,
how are you going to use your iPod if you didn't have an iPhone?
Right. So it was all, and it's all brilliant, right? It's
Like,
all brilliant,
genius.
but it's the piece that most of us don't do.
Right.
Now, we had Connie Segovia on not too long ago. We had Tanisha Lusk on, Tiffany Todd. There are a lot of people we've had here recently who do really big numbers. We're gonna have Nancy Garcia on soon.
Wow.
That's gonna be big.
She's good.
She's good. Now, if you go and check the social media of all of those people, they have created an image and a brand that people follow, right? And now they're able to do transactions that, what Connie did, 124 transactions a year ago. And, that's good. That's great. You know what I mean? That's not what people. That's
not just good.
That's great. It's borderline.
amazing.
It's borderline impossible.
Right.
It's borderline impossible. But she was able to do it. What's great about it? What she did was she created an image and marketed that image in such a way that there are people. We were standing there at a recruiting event for agents, and somebody's staring her down the whole time, and then she says her name, and they're like, "Oh, that's you! I follow you online." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, she gets it." You know what I mean? She gets it.
They're good at it. I mean, they're a lot better than me at that.
Right.
But I just know that that's where it starts. But all those girls, I know I've seen Connie online and Nancy online. They're so good at it.
Right.
And they're calculated. They're calculated, y'all.
Without a doubt.
It looks random. It's not random.
Absolutely.
They're good.
Absolutely. They're very good. They're very good.
Jealous.
And it's an amazing thing, but that is one of the deals that we jump in so quick and we don't take the time. We don't slow. You got to slow down sometimes to go fast.
Right.
Right. And you got to slow down enough to be able to put that together. So I love your answer to this was the $1 million answer. And so here's the cool thing too about working with Jeff. So all the real estate agents who are listening out here, obviously it should be clear to anybody who is needing a mortgage why you work with Jeff, because he's solution based. He's like Winston Wolfe on Pulp Fiction. If y'all
Wolf, baby.
Right. So when you get in a jam, hopefully, has everybody have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Since the last time you asked me that, I meant to actually watch that movie.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna watch it within the next 2 weeks.
Marcella, have you seen Pulp Fiction? What?
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm telling you.
It's okay.
Anyway, there's
part of my homework now.
So there's a situation in there that somebody needs some help, and they need help like yesterday. And so they're panicking, and then he calls his boss and tells him what's going on, and he's just like, hey, we need help here. And the guy tells him who's coming. So I'm sending the Wolf. The guy's still in such a panic, he didn't even hear that at first. And then the guy the boss said, look, I'm sending the Wolf. And then he hears that, and he's like, what? Oh, you sending the Wolf?
Yeah.
And so then the Wolf calls him and says, hey, look, LA traffic, it take me about LA traffic takes 30 minutes to get to where you are. I'll be there in 15. Right? So he pulls up 15 minutes later.
In his Ferrari.
Yeah, right, in his Ferrari. gets to barking out instructions and everything's good. That's who Jeff is, right? So you got a situation, I can tell you how many deals Jeff has saved that was somewhere floundering with somebody else, and you call the wolf and he takes care of it. Now you call the wolf, you don't have to call the wolf just when you got issues. If you're a good credit person and got money and all that stuff, he can really do great things with you.
That's easy.
But if you got somebody who's got some issues, hey, I got some hiccups, I got some slow pays, I got missed this, I got this, I'm independent contractor, whatever the situation is, you got to call the wolf. The wolf will look at it and figure out how we get it done. Yep. As he said at the very beginning, their motto is, we get things done. Right. And so that's the deal. Now, for a real estate agent who's listening to this, because he knows how to get things done, he knows how to help you position yourself properly to do things for your clients and how to make yourself more attractive to more clients because he has more solutions for you. A lot of the agents who struggle out there have not found a niche or a niche. How do y'all say that? Do you say niche?
I call it niche, but my son called it niche the other day, and I'm like, what are you even talking about?
I like niche.
That's what I
mean,
knew it
niche, I get it, but I like niche.
Yeah.
In college, they call it niche.
Yeah, niche is, I think, the proper. I think that's the
Is
proper phrase. You don't sound like this old Texan. I'm old Texan. I got a niche.
So it's not.
You're right.
It's not.
It's niche.
You can't say either. You can't say either or.
I think you can say either or.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Those who are more cultured and those who are more
not me.
They will say niche, right?
It's like Tarjay.
Yeah.
Well, just Target and Tarjay. So those who have not yet established a niche audience, it's important to do so. And here's how you do it. You get with somebody like Jeff and say, hey, Jeff, this is the group I'm going after. What solutions are out there for this particular group? What do I need to know? What can I share with this group to make sure I get that whole group?
With my team, in our company, we kind of preach this. We talk about marketing ideals and things because at the end of the day, like the mortgage side is the operations division, right? Mm-hmm. The real estate agent is the sales division. We're working as a team. We're basically a business together, right? Mm-hmm. You need me, I need you. Title company is part of our operations division as well, but you are the salesperson. So to me, I focus a lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, we can take care of the loans and we'll take care of the people and communicate and do all those things. Those go without saying. But what we do different and what we preach at our company, especially on my team, is that we're going to help you build your business. We want to help you with your business. I want to come with business ideas. I want to talk to you about hey, why don't we work on, doing some marketing in these channels? And there's different channels of marketing, right? You've got your social media channels. You've got your, pop buys, your reverse pop buys, all these different channels that you can go work. You can do mailers and things like that. And there's strategies to all those things. So we really focus on that to help you grow your business because you say, hey, Jeff, I'm going after this market. Well, Daniel on my team has a master's in marketing. So we sit down, we put up a plan, and then we're going to sit there and say, okay, here's your plan based on your personality because everybody's different and how they want to market and who that, what their brand is, right? And what they're marketing. So we're going to help you with that. And so that's the big thing that I always tell people is like, I don't want you to refer me business. I want to help. Let's grow our business together. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, and that's what it's all about.
That's it.
Jeff, this has been good, man. This has been very fun.
I have a question.
Oh. Yeah.
Come on.
No, have you ever thought about being a realtor? Even like your early years of mortgage where you're like, I could do that and make
No, I didn't because I enjoyed the mortgage side a lot. Mm-hmm. I liked the numbers. I liked the different dynamics of the mortgage side. I don't think I'm as good of a person if I have to go drive here, drive there, and there's a lot of driving in what y'all do, and I don't like being in the car that much. Right, that's part of it. But here and there I have no problem. But I don't want to be in a car all day. Like that would I couldn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I never thought about it. I always felt like if I had to go be a realtor, I feel like I could be a pretty good realtor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no doubt.
But I felt like my place and my purpose was in mortgage. I don't know. It just all clicks. It fits to my strengths.
Yeah.
Right. No doubt.
There you go.
Perfect.
Jeff, is there a way for somebody who needs the wolf right now? Is there a way for them to contact you?
Yes. Yeah, if you're looking for me, you can reach me on my cell phone, which is 972-342-3434. My email address is you can do Jeff and Daniel what is it? Loans with Jeff and Daniel. There you go. Loans with Jeff and Daniel. We just created it. So
Okay. Yeah.
Home website. And all that. This just got created like a few weeks ago. So I'm trying to use the old one. But it's Loans with Jeff and Daniel. If you go to that website, go on there, you can apply right there, and all our information's right there. So there you go. That's the best way to get a hold of us.
Nice.
Cool. Well, man, this has been a pleasure.
Always fun.
It's so much fun, and
we gotta have him back.
We'll have him back soon.
We'll see if I did a good job. I get the invite. They're just saying that on here right now.
No, you did a great job. And for those of you who are listening to us, please help us subscribe, like, share, do all those good things. You all have been really good to us. We've got a lot of listeners and viewers now, but we want to keep growing that and keep grow our influence. So we appreciate all of you, and we will see you on the next one.